Okay, good morning, guys. Happy Saturday. Well, good afternoon, good evening, wherever it is, where you are. Before we get into this video, I just want to say I am so freaking excited. You guys are so amazing. Thank you so much to all my subscribers, to all those who are new to my channel. Um, Hit that subscribe button right there because we are almost, and I say almost because we're almost at 100 subscribers, and I'm so excited. Thank you guys so much. Um, Great motivation, and like everything's blowing away here. Okay, and I am planning an awesome giveaway at the 100 subscriber mark. So hit the subscribe button below, leave me a comment, like, and share this video. And I'm so excited, guys. Thank you so much. And I'll keep you updated with the details of the giveaway um, in my other videos. All right? But I can't wait. I'm so happy. You have made me so happy. Okay, take care. I was asked Bye, guys. To do something on my thoughts of the Illuminati. All right, so let's get into it. I don't want you guys deceived no more. Okay? So it's that time. All right? And let's get into it. Now, what does the word Illuminati mean? Illuminati is a Latin word. It means enlightened. Okay? That's all it means. Enlightened. Having the light. Whatever. All right? Now, when people talk about the Illuminati group, they usually are referring to one group that kind of got famous in the 1700s. But what they might not realize is that there were Illuminati groups all over the world between the late 1600s and into the 1700s. These groups were all over the world, and they were originally created to battle the overpowering and overbearing religious organizations and the religious bars and bans on the public. So during that time, we went through the Dark Ages, all of those things, and the Catholic Church really held all the power. It was the seat of power for the modern world. And they dictated what you can learn, what you can do, what positions people can have, and they basically outlawed everything that didn't go along with their control system. So that is how the Illuminati came about. It was people who realized that, hey, there's more to life than this control system of the church. Let's change it. And because of that, they were demonized, and they were outcast as a demonic group, a group of the devil. And that's why they ended up having to be secret societies, because at this time what they were teaching and what they were learning was outlawed. Now let's take a look at what the values were of the people who strove to create the Enlightenment, the Illuminati groups. They wanted liberty, okay, from religious oppression. They wanted progress. They were tired of living in the Dark Ages. They wanted progression. They wanted tolerance because the church was not tolerant of people. They wanted a separation of the church and the state. Okay, they believed that the church should not hold all the power, all the political power, and they wanted religious tolerance. We they had gone through times of religious war, religious battles. People were killed, burned at the stake, all of these things, and they wanted religious tolerance. So that time in history, the late 1600s to throughout the 1700s, was a time of revolution across the world, a time of expanding philosophies, and a time of questionings of the church. This was one of their mottos, I guess, or you could say their mind frame, was to stop the political power of the church and to allow people to follow their own path. They believed that a good religion need not to force itself to maintain believers. Very few of them were atheists. If you read a lot of the historical writings of these people who started their secret societies, they weren't atheists. They believed in a higher power, a divine source, God, whatever name you want to put on it. But they believed that everybody should choose their own path towards this spirituality, towards this enlightenment. And so basically their main goal was to stop the political power of organized religion and prevent the ongoing of religious intolerance. So a lot of people, when they talk about Illuminati, what comes to mind is a secret group in Bohemian Grove doing some Luciferian ritual to a deity they call Lucifer, Satan, whatever, sacrificing children, all of these things. That's what comes to mind when people talk about the Illuminati. But that's not where the Illuminati started. And half of the things that are categorized as Illuminati are not even Illuminati. So what we need to do is understand the words, understand the meanings behind these groups, and not fall into the trap of just being given a catchphrase and told to follow along with what people are afraid of. We couldn't have anything to fear with the Illuminati anymore, because we should be doing our research and understanding and opening our minds more to the historical background and to what they actually stood for. A lot of the things that they stood for now, we are fighting for and we're supporting. We support liberty, freedom of religion, freedom of speech, all of these things that America was built on. Basically, well, not basically, it is well known. The forefathers of America were Illuminati, right? That it falls into the basis of why they created America, why they wanted to create this free land from the overpowering and overbearing hand of the church in Europe. Right? Speaking to the people who question, like, there are people who will always be followers. They will always be in a system. They don't want to seek any further, and they're happy with what they're doing. All power to them. But to the people who are questioning and who are seeking, even while you're in these religious organizations, do your research. I mean, and don't do your research from sources that are of the organization, because of course it's tainted. Do your own research. Open your mind, expand your mind. Even if you look into the teachings of Jesus, yes, he was not a Christian, of course not, and he was Illuminati, and he was an alchemist. Look into his teachings, look into his sayings, and really start reading his sayings apart from the religious teaching. You'll notice that he's teaching something other than what the church wants you to believe. Look into the Gnostic Gospels. Phrases and the combatants against people who are researching into, say, the Gnostics, into the other sacred texts. They're going to tell you that these people were rogues and they didn't believe in the word and all of the nonsense. No. You got to start looking at it with a logical, clear mind, and question, why do they want to hide these things from the public so much? Why do they demonize these things so much? Why are they so afraid? You know, I have many people who are still even afraid to speak to me because the fear put into them by the church that anything that goes against religion is of the devil, and you might be contaminated with these thoughts, and the devil might get into your mind. So basically what they're saying to you is the devil might make you think and might make you break the control that we have over you, so you don't do the thinking, we'll do it for you. That's basically what they're telling you. So start looking, reading, and thinking for yourself. If you're in a religious organization that is afraid of outside thought, that should raise red flags right there. A lot of the people that we now hail for science and technology are people that were demonized by the church. Some of them were even killed by the church because the church did not believe in science, did not believe in technology, did not believe in mathematics. All of these schools of knowledge were demonized by the church. So when they tell you to stay away from certain information, then you have to question, you know, and they feed you the information so that they don't even have to do the work as much. You'll raise your children afraid of everything. You'll raise your children telling them that the devil is lurking behind every corner, and the church and the organization doesn't even have to do all the work because they've given it to you to do. So no matter what background we've come from, you know, what our ancestors are, whether our ancestors were African, whether our ancestors were the indigenous peoples of the land, whether our ancestors were the Aboriginals in South America, they all fought and died to prevent this religious system from taking over. And I think that's what we have to realize when we really look back in history. They fought and they died to prevent the colonization and to prevent the brainwashing of themselves and their people. And we just gobble it up. We take it in like it's the gospel truth. We don't question. We force others to believe this way. Like the brainwashing goes so deep that we need to really look at what the roots of it are and the values that we hold. We really need to question them, you know. And many people demonize the Illuminati because of the symbols that they use, the ancient symbols that they're using. Now, yes, they use symbols, but you have to know the significance of the symbols that they use. They know the significance because they're not bound to a religious system. They're drawing from symbolism from ancient Egypt, ancient Kemet, and they're pulling back into the power that was in those symbols that the church has destroyed. The church knows the symbols. If you look at the Roman Catholic Church, they know all of these symbols, but they use them for their power. And that's what you need to realize. They're using them to have power over you. Just like what these organizations are doing, they're using those symbols in order to have power over you, because without knowledge, we are powerless. That is why the Illuminati wanted people to have knowledge. Everybody should be enlightened, okay? So when you go back to the symbols that they're using, they're ancient Egyptian Kemet symbols. That is where they're pulling the power from. When you look at when you look in your Bible at ancient Jerusalem and the method of worship that was in place there, I'm going to insert a picture of an archaeological dig that was done. I think it was last year or 2014, one of them. Anyways, and it was done in Jerusalem, okay? And they found this coin. The coin belongs to King Hezekiah, okay? King Hezekiah ruled in the time of Isaiah the prophet, and you can go into your Bibles and read the story. he was a righteous king. Okay, so I preface that by saying he was a righteous king. In your Bible, it says he was a righteous king, because people will try to twist this now. When they found the coin that has his name inscribed for his kingdom, these were the coins that were used for his kingdom. Take a look at what's on it. That coin clearly shows an ankh and a winged scarab beetle. All right, where do we see these images from? Ancient Egypt. Where do we see them being used today? They're also being used by the so-called Illuminati power groups that everybody's afraid of. Under the Illuminati movement, I should say, under the movement, there was a huge increase of reading material. Before then, people didn't read. That's why we ended up in, well, not we, Europe ended up in the Dark Ages. People were not allowed to read, okay? They were only allowed to read their so-called church books that were put out by the church. So under the Illuminati, you had a lot of people actually reading different material. Knowledge was spreading. Knowledge was increasing. People's minds were opening up. And the population was very hungry to learn. The statistics showed, when they tried to go back and research, was that there was a huge decline in religious reading material and a huge surge of science-based material, astronomy-based material, all of the other knowledge forms. There was a huge surge in that because it showed that the people wanted to learn. What does all of this mean? Oh, wait, I wanted to touch on the celebrities, because I know that's where a lot of people are going to go to and say, well, look at what's going on with the celebrities and what they're teaching people. Mind you, you have to remember, majority of the celebrities don't know this information themselves either. They don't run their own brand. They're marketed by their company. They're owned by their company. Okay. So a lot of the celebrities are kind of like models. They're told to stand a certain way, perform this song. They don't songwrite. They don't do any of that. They're performers. So they are given the directions. They're given the work to perform. They're given the way to stand when they're doing a photo shoot. It's not their decision. So where does all of this come from? It comes from their marketing, not marketing, their label that owns them. Majority of the labels are owned by people who hold views of the Illuminati. They're not religious bound, okay? So that's why you will see a lot of the symbolism placed with celebrities, because they are spreading a message to the people, and that by using the symbolism, they are involuntarily pulling in the masses of people for the corporation. It's all alchemy, it's all magic, it's all about what is going to change people's perception and their thoughts to bring in the energy towards the company. And of course, the energy transmits into currency, into money. Okay, that's all it is. They're not putting a death curse wish on people. What people usually do is that they don't see a lot of the other things that they're doing that could be bringing that into their life. You know, I've worked on psychiatric units, and the whole thing is now that people are saying, well, the music that's being put out is causing people to become possessed. Yeah, yes, there are ways you can put incantations into music, but let's look at the full picture. A lot of the people that I've dealt with, when I talk about how did a situation start with them, they'll say they did a drug. And after they did a drug, they started hearing voices and they started having strange things going on in their lives. What we need to realize is drugs and, psychedelics, all of those things, drugs, they open your receptors to a different level. Okay. um, and if you don't know what you're doing, if you're not ready for it, you are allowing certain entities to come into your space. You're going to see certain things because you're opening up different parts of your brain, you're opening up different parts of your aura, you're opening up different portals. So you are going to see certain things. Not everybody does, but if you are sensitive to it, you will. I mean, the Beatles, they've talked about how they use LSD to get higher messages, to speak with entities, to learn what are different methods that they can do with their music and with life and everything. And these are things that were originally used by the shamans and the mystics of different cultures because they knew the control that had to go along with it. It wasn't just people randomly using these medications. And that's the problem that happened, is that we started taking on the recreational use of these medications. We lost the sanctity and the reverence for them, and basically it's coming to bite us in the butt because we didn't learn about it. These were used in ritual practices by people who understood what it was for, what the dangers were, and who could handle it. And we've taken it upon ourselves as a fun thing to do. Another day, we can also talk about the people who went wayward, who made us afraid of anything that was deemed Illuminati. That's a whole nother topic in itself. But we can't use one phrase as a catch-all. And that's what the church has done, and that's what other people who are using that system are doing. They're making you afraid of the word Illuminati. Illuminati means illuminated with the knowledge, and my goal, my hope for all of us is that we will become Illuminati. My hope for you guys watching this is that you will become Illuminati. Get your knowledge, get your power. It's not hard to find. It's out there. Let's not be scared anymore, and let's stop following the centuries of church rule, trying to control us into a dead system. We are beings of the divine, we are spiritual, we are cosmic beings. There are other entities out there who know what we can be, and that right has been stolen from us by withholding the knowledge from us. It was great talking with you again, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.